Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
When creating invoices, you will sometimes have different categories of charges. It may be helpful to group and subtotal these sections in your invoice. To do this, you must create a new form style. The first step is to click the Gear button and to then click the Custom Form Styles link that appears under the Your Company heading in the drop-down menu to open the Custom Form Styles page. To create a new form style, click the New Style button in the upper right corner of the page. Then select the Invoice choice from the drop-down menu that appears. This opens the Style section within the New Invoice Style page where you can choose the basic style for the form. Type a name for the new invoice into the field at the top left side of this page if needed. To set the form style, click the Change Up the Template link to display the form styles. Then click the style you prefer to show it in the preview at the right side of the page. To change the logo, click the Make Logo Edits link. Then click the plus sign button in the logo area that appears to select a new logo to upload. You can select a size and placement for the uploaded logo by clicking the choice you prefer within the Size and Placement sections. You can also click the Hide Logo link to hide the logo if desired. To choose a different color, click the Splash on Some Color link and then click a color to use. To change the fonts, click the Get Choosy with Your Font link and then use the two drop-downs to select a font and font size to apply. To edit the margin size, click the When in Doubt Print It Out link and then enter the page margins you prefer. You can also check the Fit Printed form with Pay Stub in Window Envelope and Use Letterhead Paper checkboxes here if you want to enable those options. Then click the Content link at the top of the page to show the different sections of the invoice in the preview area to the right. Each section appears with a white pencil icon in its upper right corner that you can click to edit the content of that section. Here is where you will need to enable the grouping and subtotaling for the line item section of the invoice. Click the white pencil icon in the upper right corner of the line item section of the invoice at the right side of the screen. This is the middle section of the three sections that are shown. To the left, you will see an activity table with a columns and an Edit Labels and Width section. Below this, click the Show More Activity Options link to show advanced activity options in a new section. Here, check the Group Activity By checkbox, and then select the option to use to group the activities. The drop-down list contains day, week, month, and type options. To subtotal each group, check the Subtotal Groups checkbox that appears after selecting a choice from the Group Activity By checkbox's drop-down menu. If grouping by one of the date options for day, week, or month, you must enter a service date on your invoice. If you don't, QuickBooks Online Plus shows all separate detail lines as occurring on the invoice date and will not list separate groups or subtotals. If grouping by a date option, you must also check the Date checkbox in the Columns section directly above the More Activity Options section. Likewise, if grouping by type, you must enter at least two different types of items in the invoice to create subtotals. The types are charges, billable expenses, and billable time. In QuickBooks Online Plus, all products and services are of the charges type. If you don't list at least two different types of items, meaning charges, billable expenses, or billable time, within the invoice, it will not recognize different types of items and will not group or subtotal. If you have multiple activity rows with the same description and rate, you can check the Collapse Activity Rows checkbox to hide the details of those items in a group. After making your selections in the Activity Table section, you can click the Preview PDF button at the bottom of the page to preview how the invoice will appear. You can also make any other changes you want to the invoice using the other options in this page. After making all the changes you want to the invoice, click the Done button in the lower right corner of the page to save it. You will be returned to the Custom Form Styles page and see the new form style within the list. If you will only be using the form style periodically, you can simply use the Customize button that appears at the bottom of the invoice window when creating new invoices to apply the style. Clicking the Customize button shows the list of custom form styles. Simply click the style to use it and then continue creating the invoice. It then applies the grouping and subtotaling to the line items entered into the invoice. Now, if you will be using the new custom form style for the majority of your invoices, you can click the Action Columns drop-down for the form style within the Custom Form Styles page, and then select the Make Default command from the drop-down menu. Doing this makes that custom form style the default for all future invoices. Also, as mentioned within a prior lesson, to manually add a subtotal for items to an invoice, simply select the row above where you want to insert the subtotal row. Then click the Add Subtotal button in the invoice window to add a subtotal line below the currently selected row. You can add as many subtotal lines as the invoice requires.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.